I had a book on it was actually called Making Out in Thai, and it would teach you how to say hot things to people in that language.
Nice.
And I recommend. I just want to say right now, they have this book, I believe, for all the major languages of the world. It's called Making Out in Language of Your Choice. So Chinese, Arabic, probably not as hot, and who knows how to do it, but
you never know.
They have all the phrases and stuff that you would say, like in bed, fresh stuff, not so fresh stuff, romantic stuff. They got a whole spectrum of like things you would say to somebody to like try to hook up. These people are geniuses. I don't know why I don't own the encyclopedia of these books. That's going to be
smart.
Yes, we should get that. We should have at least a couple of them on hand.
For a reference, you need a reference.
Yeah, just in the background as decorations or something. So, but yeah, I've got this book, Making Out in Thai, and so I'm like saying hot stuff to her, and she's digging it because, as I said, if you say something hot to a chick in their language and they're not expecting it because you're just like some foreign person,
right?
They think it's hot. Reality.
UFOs.
Science.
Consciousness.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That might not be a real thing. The podcast. Three.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're your hosts, the Candyman, Danny D. and Macca, with guest Danny's lovely primal wife, Kingsley. Don't eyeball Dan if you're a female in public and she's around. She'll claw your eyes out.
Happens all the time.
And
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's like Sex Panther.
To quote the weird bishop priest guy from the 80s movie The Princess Bride, marriage is what brings us together today. Love, true love. You remember the scene I'm talking about, Karen?
So we are going to talk about Chris's marriage story, and I love this story. I'd rather hear this than any other story, I think.
We're discussing marriage in general, but
well,
No, we're not. We're talking about one marriage.
We want your story from start to finish.
The prime.
How did you meet her? Everything. You're going to start at the beginning.
We're talking about one marriage.
The prime focus.
Yeah, this is what everybody wants to hear.
You want the raw, uncut version of
That's it.
The entire saga of my marriage.
Because we've gotten pieces here and there over the years, over the last 20 years, whatever it's been. Probably like 15 years, maybe. We've gotten pieces, but we've never gotten the full story. How did you meet her? All this stuff.
I'll try to break it down as succinctly and timeline and honesty and as
I can lead it if you want. I can lead you a little bit.
It's one of the greatest love stories never told. And never actually loved.
Some people do.
It's
talk
one of the
about
never love stories never told.
Yes.
You never know what's going on. All right. Well, let's.
How did you meet her?
Let's start off with a little background, right?
Okay.
So, the guy that's on the air telling the story right now, that's sitting in the chair, that'd be me. I'm not the same person I was 16 years ago. Not mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
I don't think anybody was.
Right, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Even the building blocks of my body are made out of different material at this point. So it was a long time ago. And at that particular time in my life, early 20s, I was basically depression runs hardcore in my father's side of the family, and basically my great-grandfather, I'm just going to give you a background on that. My great-grandfather basically committed suicide, I think, when he was around my age, like 40. Oh. And my papuli, my grandfather, found him there. And there was some other, all the people on that side of the family, they're all fucked up with some kind of like depression or anxiety. Mental illness is very difficult to like put a pin on and diagnose because they don't, they didn't have any kind of actual scans or data to like, you can't go in and get a scan and they'll be like, oh, based on the 10 million other scans we've done with people with this disorder or problem, this is precisely what you have. So the generations that came before us, I mean, they self-medicated a lot. They were into, whatever. They didn't have the education that we had about, depression and bipolar and all these other, quasi disorders that they're all kind of linked together too. So at that particular point in my life, it was hitting me hard, right? So I'm like 23, 24. Technically I've got the world by the balls, right? Like I'm born into this like, lucky place in time that I'm born into. I'm like intelligent, relatively good with girls, and I've got a cool car, and I've got a Harley, and I'm in shape, and there's no reason in the world why I should be depressed. I should be jumping out of bed every day and being like, yes, you know what I mean? But at that time I was dealing with nonstop depression, and just like every day I'd get up and I just didn't want to do anything, and I just felt like I wanted basically to die. So when you have that state of mind at the first, in my experience anyway, the first real, when you're really going through it hard and it's really full blown for the first time, I think you just naturally start trying to blame it on external things, because you're like, it's this, it's that, it's some other thing. And really it's all going on in your own mind, and it's all about your own viewpoints. And I, granted, it's chemical imbalances that cause.
It could be just nothing, right? It could just be your chemistry.
Right. That's precisely what's going on.
Well, a lot of people have problems around 23.
Yeah, that's when.
Yeah,
that's
like my cousin Adam killed himself. Then, like a lot of people seem to like have that problem where they're like, before adulthood, they're like they don't know what to do, and they think it's the end, but it's not. It's a
transitional phase.
Transitional phase for a lot of people, and a lot of people have hiccups then.
It's why people peak in high school. Some people can't make it over that to the next level, right? So anyway, at that point in my time, I was dealing with a lot of those internal demons, and at the same time, grew up working in the family restaurant. And Macca, 1 to 10, how bad is it working in there in the summertime?
10, 12.
All right, it's bad.
12.
We used to dunk our heads in ice cold water every 5 minutes. Yeah, you know what it's like. I don't know why I asked him. You both worked there, right? In the summer, it's fucking brutal, right?
I hated it, yeah.
So I was going through all these, I felt trapped, like I couldn't get out of the restaurant, or that I was never going to be, get out of the kitchen or whatever. I had a really toxic relationship with my kid's mom. Not blaming one or her or me or whatever. The reality was it was a bad relationship, and we had split. Meanwhile, I'm also really good at karate, right? Taekwondo. I'd won the state championship 2 years in a row for black belt heavyweight over 18, right? So I was like, you've seen me, you both seen it. So
yeah, I've seen you fight.
I'm into it. I consider myself
roundhouse kicks.
Yeah, I consider myself whatever I have to do to put my opponent down. But I consider myself like a lethal weapon if I had to be, minus jiu-jitsu, which is my weak point.
But you don't know kung fu.
I know some kung fu.
Minus that left
Yeah, but
leg.
jiu-jitsu is a lot more valuable than kung fu. Not to get into this. But.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I just want to escape basically my life. I want to escape all the pain I'm in. I want to escape the restaurant. I want to escape the shitty negative emotions that I was going through with my breakup with on and on again, off again with my ex, whatever. And when you're a person that has depression, you're getting up every day basically feeling like the world's over and it sucks. So when an actual life-changing event does happen, like a breakup or a death, or you get fired or anything like that would normally fuck a person up, for a person with depression, it's like times 100. It's unbearable. It's it's brutal.
Now, do you think you had to be a little bit hedonistic at the time, like pleasure seeking, because find your pleasures where you can?
I've always been hedonistic.
Okay.
All right. That's me to my core. Okay. That's what drives me. So I don't know what the original, I don't know the direct quote from The Matrix when the Smith guy is talking about it's what gives him purpose. He's like, it's what drives us. It's what gives us purpose. It's this, it's that. But yeah, I mean, hedonism is what I'm here for, dude. I'm here to feel nice and pleasure myself as much as possible, right? So anyway, I'd always wanted to go to Asia. I had an opportunity to go over there and teach English. I get on a fucking plane. I I get myself set up with a teaching English job in Phuket, Thailand, which is right on the fucking equator, and I go over there in June, right? So I get there, and I'm staying in some places that are not nice.
Yeah,
they were rough. I was in like the only hotel. I think at the time the International AIDS Convention was in town, and because Bangkok had been such a big, or Thailand had been such a big hub for AIDS during like the 80s, they had basically become like the world center for research and development on like vaccines. And so basically all the doctors go there to like have these conferences. And
but you were all by yourself too.
Yeah, I was all alone, and they've basically wiped out AIDS over there. I mean, the rate, I bet their rates are lower than the U.S. or comparable. We'd have to look it up. That's what you're really good at, King. So
on it.
You got to be careful over there anyway. But so I don't know. I'm over there, and I'm just basically I get to Phuket, and it's so hot. I'm in the gym, and I'm like doing repetitions, and each repetition I do, I'm basically suffering mild effects of heat stroke. So I can't handle the heat in the environment, even though I had this like summertime intense heat training at the restaurant. It was you couldn't get cool there. It was just so hot.
So the first trip, you weren't there very long.
So the first trip, I was there for like 10 days, 2 weeks.
Couldn't you not find food at the first two?
That's permanent when I go over there. You can't find good food over there at all. I mean, when I go over there, I eat rice and chicken, and that's it. You can't find any American food. And I don't have a great palate for their food anyway. I drop like 20 pounds every time I go, partially from the heat and sweating, and partially from the just dietary changes. But I end up freaking out essentially when I'm in Phuket, and I'm like, I can't fucking handle this, and I want to come home. So like a pussy. So
yeah, you gave up the first time, right?
Right.
Yeah. Failed.
That's all right.
Failure.
But before you came home.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting to it.
Yeah.
Baby. Failure is a necessary step on the road to success. That's a fact. I may have that might even be my quote that I made up. It's possible I heard it and I was blacked out high and it just went in my brain.
You may have reworded it to
I
be
think
your
you
quote.
That, 'cause I think
so
that's
that means it's your quote.
I'll say that I borrowed it from someone, but I don't remember borrowing it. Can we just agree on that?
So you had a rough time over there. Did you have anybody that you knew?
No, I was a total stranger. So the first time I get over there, I'm in this Phuket, and it's like not resorty, because where I'm living and teaching this English is like the villages and stuff, which is cool because I like that. But it was
kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah,
you weren't in the right.
But I just I wasn't ready to take on that challenge. Was the bottom line. I was trying to escape emotional problems that were essentially following me there. You know what I mean? But anyway, I get on a plane. I can't get home for 2-3 weeks because it's like, I hadn't planned on it. So I get stuck, if such a thing exists, because now I would fucking love to be stuck there. I get stuck in Bangkok. And this is like the best, coolest city in the world. And I hate cities, right? Like, I do not like going to the city, but I like Bangkok. You just walk around, do whatever you want. It's fucking great. And they got everything you want to do there. And for a hedonist like me, you can do it. It's all for broke.
I'd love to go there.
So, yeah. And also, there's like, everywhere I go, there's like girls looking at me because I look like Vin Diesel. And I was pretty jacked at the time. Asian people over there really do think that all white people kind of look the same. So, until they get to know you, we all look the same to them. We're farang. That means foreigner in Thai. You're just another farang. Maybe if you're black or white or some other kind of Asian, they know if you're not from Thailand, like if you're Japanese or whatever, They'll flag you in a second. Yeah. So, well, they're also pretty dark skinned in general, whereas like Japanese and Chinese are a little more white, in complexion. But anyway. To speed up the story, I end up staying at the Grand Tower Inn in Rama 6, which is a suite hotel, and the hotel across the street has a restaurant that I like to eat at, and I go there and I meet this girl whose name was, like, everyone over there, they have like a nickname, like an American nickname type thing. So like
my nail lady.
Well,
like nail salons have that.
Okay, so my friend over there, probably my future business partner when I move there, her name's Parichat, but she calls herself Jewel because that's her nickname. Her kid is named like Wasasana, and her nickname is Blue Mint. Okay, so they have like My Little Pony names.
I like that.
Yeah, she's Blue Mint. It's like Red Mist from fucking Kick-Ass. But anyway, we meet, and I'm in an emotional state, and she's like kicking it to me, and I'm kicking it to her, and her friends all thought I was cool. Meanwhile, I meet this guy from Britain who had just gotten divorced, and he worked for the Bank of Hong Kong. He was Hong Kong Michael, who actually he actually
Hong Kong Mike.
Hong Kong Mike. You got to understand, computers back then, they weren't
dial up and the like.
Well, there was just the technology was a little way behind what we have now today, but also like there were security issues with like keeping up the software and the firmware and the ATM machines and stuff like that. They didn't want people to be able to like hack in through that and then get into their banks and stuff. So this dude's job was for the Bank of Hong Kong to go around Bangkok and like update and maintain all the software on all the ATM machines. Yeah. And in real life, this dude had codes where he would put them in and it would just spit money out at us.
Wow.
So he was a good guy to become friends with because he was over there and he was like lonely and depressed. And I was like, I'll make friends with anyone. And he was like the only other like farang in our hotel. He was eating at the restaurant same night I was. So we hook up, we become buddies. Now Thailand starts to become a little more fun for me. I start to like it. I start to really see parts of it that I wanted to see. Meanwhile, me and Jasmine are like, making out, and
Jasmine's the future.
That's the future girl I met.
Okay, how'd you meet her? Through your friend?
So I met her at the restaurant across the hotel that I was staying at. She worked at the restaurant every night.
Oh.
So she.
What did she do?
It's always the waitress.
She was she was a hostess. She was a hostess at the restaurant. Unclear as to actually what she was doing. She just would stand there and look good or whatever. But for whatever reason, her and her friends and we start hanging out for like I'm there for like 2 weeks, 10 days,
for whatever
it was. Well, we're hanging out.
She was the first fucking person you saw in that restaurant, and you were like,
maybe
locked in.
Maybe. It's highly accurate.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, probably.
You started to like Thailand before you left. Then.
Right. So by the time it was time to go, I'm in love with the place. You
couldn't have stayed. You already told them you were leaving.
Yeah, I had to go, and it was there were financial things. I had quit my job over there that I had lined up.
Oh, you already quit it.
Yeah. So it was I had to go, but me and this girl kept in touch over the course of the year, and I come home and start working your brother at Conversant.
Yeah.
In sales. And I'm having a lot of success, making good money and all this other stuff. But I just hate the job, and I don't want to be there anymore. And I'm still dealing with my depression and bullshit. So it puts me back into like a I want to get out of here state. And so basically what happened was you can't stay in Thailand for a long time unless you have a work visa or unless you're married to a Thai national, and you can't own land or rent an apartment or do anything. I mean, you can rent an apartment for 99 years and you can lease stuff like that, but like back then you really needed some kind of a Thai connection. So her and I had a little history, and we started talking about it, and she's like, you want to come over here and get married? And I was like, yeah, I do. Fuck it.
That's it.
Because I'm like, yeah, fuck America, fuck this rat race, and I don't want to be here anymore. I wanted to escape it all. You know what I mean?
Now, what did your family say? Did you tell them?
I didn't tell them anything because I knew exactly what, back then.
Wait,
you knew exactly what they'd say.
Hold on. Because we're skipping some things.
I don't know if we are or not. But
pretty good.
No.
Go
I think
ahead.
we're pretty good, but we're missing one thing. This woman doesn't speak English.
Yeah, that's right. She speaks minimal English. I speak minimal Thai.
Right.
So this entire
I think it's a whole.
Over there, that's common practice though. So it's like to us it seems crazy because you're like that makes no sense, but over there it's what happens.
Yeah, I can understand.
I mean,
that.
I can tell Dan what to do without even saying a word, so I get it. I get it.
But they spoke on the phone.
Well, I was trying to learn Thai.
Right.
Well, I don't
Chris
think
can't talk Thai.
So I was practicing Thai. She was practicing her English.
Right.
And
I talked to her on the phone a couple of times.
You did?
It was minimal English.
Minimal.
It was like, hi.
Yeah, just minimal English.
Yeah.
But you don't need that. This is a perfect example of what I use on what I've explained on Just the Tip. Is you don't need to speak a girl's language to meet her and fall in love and have sex. You just have to look at her and have body language. Pheromones.
Look, I agree that, but now you're a year away and you're just talking on the phone.
Yeah, so but
like with hi.
Way before
Swati Khan.
FaceTime.
No, I had a book. On it was actually called Making Out in Thai, and it would teach you how to say hot things to people in that language.
Nice.
I recommend. I just want to say right now, they have this book I believe, for all the major languages of the world. It's called making out in language of your choice. So Chinese, Arabic, probably not as hot, and who knows how to do it. But
you never know.
They have all the phrases and stuff that you would say, like in bed, fresh stuff, not so fresh stuff, romantic stuff. They got a whole spectrum of like things you would say to somebody to like try to hook up. These people are geniuses. I don't know why I don't own the encyclopedia of these books. That's going to be smart. Yes, we should get that. We should have at least a couple of them on hand.
For a reference. You need a reference.
Yeah, just in the background as decorations or something. So, but yeah, I've got this book, Making Out in Thai, and so I'm like saying hot stuff to her, and she's digging it because, as I said, if you say something hot to a chick in their language and they're not expecting it because you're just like some foreign person,
right,
they think it's hot. So anyway, I want to go on an adventure. I want to leave. I want to get the fuck out of here. So I can
see the appeal in that.
I basically will go back to Thailand with my best buddy Mikey.
1 year later.
Yeah, a year later. And the whole thing's set up. We're supposed to go.
They set the wedding up.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a marriage and ceremony.
What did the family say when they saw you? Completely serious?
None of these people spoke English, but they thought I was a good guy, and they were happy that like this chick was happy, and that they basically were just, it's rough conditions where she lives, and so she's working in Bangkok, sending money home to them to help them. So to them, they're like, oh, this guy's from America. He's got to have some money. So now we'll have even some more money. So as long as you have some money to bring to the family and you're not like
a dowry.
Yeah, I think I did. I gave $500 or something like that.
Oh my God.
So I gave the family, I didn't know that. She was like, you have to give my family some money. I was like, why? And they're like, it's custom. And I was like, all right. So I think Mikey might have even chipped in on it. He's like, here you go. I'm positive he did. That's
he definitely did.
He was like, all right.
Your wedding gift.
He's like, I got
$500 to him must have been a lot, though.
Yeah, back then it was.
He was investing in the experience in the story.
In the deviant. He's investing in the deviance. Right. Yeah, exactly. So
you gave them money. Now they must have loved you. Like, so you're getting hugs from grandmas and shit.
The whole village was there, dressed up to the nines in these like beautiful silk outfits. They've got me in this white silk thing. We got it on camera. I just don't know where it is. I think
it is on camera.
It is on camera.
People have seen it, but I think
Mike Siemens' face in it. I think
my ex found it and destroyed it. But it's possible it's on the hard drive in my Windows XP computer that's locked back there. It's also possible that it's, I don't know. I could probably find it if I really, really looked for it. But, yeah, it was a big wedding, dude. It was like the whole day. And we were over there, and I'm like, man, this is getting real now. I'm about to do this, right? So Mike's like, over there, Valium is legal, and you can just buy it in the pharmacy. Yeah. Like, I'll take 1,000. They're like, okay, here you go. So, like, that's not a joke. That's not a joke. They have a bottle with 1,000 Valium.
That should be here, too.
How much did that cost him, do you think?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Not a lot.
The Valium were like, they were like a couple. No, yeah. Oh, yeah. For 1,000 of them, yeah, it was like $100 tops. They were like pennies on the dollar. It was retarded. And they were like pharmaceutical quality, whatever.
They were regular Valium.
So Mikey's over there. He's like, oh, don't be nervous. He's like, just take a couple of these. You'll be good. So like, I take a couple of Valium, and I'm basically sedated, like legitimately sedated, like walking around this marriage.
You're lucky you didn't pass out
at a village Buddhist, like a straight up Buddhist.
Monks are there throwing flowers and rice.
Wedding ceremony in a in a village in Thailand.
Did you look around at any point and say, this is fucked up?
Oh, it was great. It was like I was like, well, this is actually exactly how I always imagined
my
wedding.
Cloud nine.
Oh, okay.
So this does make sense.
Okay.
So I wasn't unhappy because that particular trip, Mike stayed for like 2 weeks and I stayed for like a month. And so we were like, happy basically for a month, but I had to go home and work again, right? So we basically, Mikey and I partied with her and her friends for like 2 weeks. Like we tore up Bangkok, and we went right during New Year's. So it's just like this massive party time. And we went to this place it was called Dance Fever or Disco Fever. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's Dance Fever.
Did she expect you to live here?
No, so that was the thing. I mean, I was trying to escape America and my life, basically. Trying to escape my life, and which was an awesome life, but I just didn't appreciate it at the time. And so, we had talked many a time that I was going to go move over there and we were going to live there and whatever. So I come home, we talk for another year, and I guess if it's important, Macca, her English was getting better and my Thai was getting better.
Yeah, it was. There was progress.
Ever after that wedding?
We didn't have video chats out. We didn't have video, or we might have had
like a Skype or something like that.
Something like that, but it was probably shit.
Early on.
No, that was like
this is like
that
2000.
Was like futuristic technology.
No, this is like 2004 or 2003, 2004.
There was stuff out there.
No, this is 2002.
They were bad though.
Yeah,
they
were.
I don't
really
think
bad.
it was privately accessible.
But they definitely had them though.
Not cheap.
I used to use a webcam with a friend.
Yeah, Cisco had them and other people had them, but I think they were expensive. It didn't matter. We didn't have them. And sure shit didn't have. They sure shit didn't have them in Thailand.
Yeah, no.
So me, Marco, and Mikey go back for the famous.
Can I pause 1 second though?
Please.
If there was any moment where Candyman was trying to get out of his wedding, he brought the right man to stop him from doing that, because there was no way Mikey was letting you get out of this.
No.
You were like, I don't think we should do this. He goes, no, you're fucking doing it.
Yeah, no, he was 100% for it. Thought it was great, but you know what? That's why he was a great wingman. You know, he's
always down.
He's ride or die. He's got your back.
Yeah.
I mean, he physically traveled halfway around the world with me twice. I mean, that's a big thing. That's a bond not a lot of people share. Like, you go on an adventure.
Vacations really can make or break a friendship.
Right, but
Definitely.
I'm saying halfway around the world is it? We went on a proper adventure.
That's not
on several occasions.
Yeah, that's not like 5 days in Cancun. You know what I mean? That's 2 weeks in Bangkok. That's different.
Oh, I was staying longer. Because the next time I went, I was there for 2 months.
Oh, you were with her for 2 months.
So we went back. Me, Mikey, and Marco go back. They're there for 2 weeks. I'm there for 2 months.
You're there. So this is year one.
So you were
the first anniversary.
This is
staying
like
at her apartment?
This is like our 1 year anniversary, basically.
Right.
Is what's going on.
You staying at her apartment?
No. Her apartment. So apartments in Bangkok in particular are like extremely expensive, and so like most people that live there are it's like the old West here. They have like a one room.
Yeah, they share
where there's like a shared bathroom. And
like an inn or like a hostel.
It's just like it's just a little teeny room that they can have a bed in and a couple of clothes and maybe like
a little closet.
There's not really any cooking or anything in there. It's just like a place to fucking not be homeless, basically.
Right.
So no, me and the boys weren't staying in her apartment, dude. We stayed at the penthouse level of the awesome hotel with the rooftop swimming pool and 24-hour room service, and fucking basically just tore that place. Painted it red. Is that what they call it? We painted the town. Yeah, we painted the town red for 2 hard weeks. They basically before Mikey and Mark leave, me and my wife basically get into an argument because I basically think like my ex had texted me or called me, or she had the kids and I was taking care of those kids like they were my own kids for a while, like at this point.
Who?
Tristan and Alexia.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So I don't know. I missed the kids or something. I was trying to like get a hold of them or whatever. And her and I were talking, and my wife heard it and flipped the fuck out. Started giving me all this shit, which that's not. I don't do that.
Did she try to get you to sign anything like in the country?
No. There was never any.
They don't have that in the
paperwork or
country. They
anything like
must.
that. No, I'm sure they do now. But
marriage license.
Well, I'll tell you what. If there's any kind of like warrants for my arrest in Thailand, I got right through customs last time I went.
Yeah, so there probably isn't.
With a ton of joints in my bag, I might add. So I mean, it's their security is like. They don't care.
That's not their biggest worry.
They're not too worried about that, right? They're thinking about overthrowing the government every 10 minutes, So they're not too worried about it. But yeah, man, I basically go back and that's it. We got in like a little bit of an argument, and she basically like fucking left the hotel and like took off for 2 days. And so I told me and Mikey and Mark over there, and we're like, well, I don't know if I'm divorced or if this is a fight or
separation.
Because she just took off.
2 days is a long time with no contact. It's
well,
like,
we haven't seen each other in a fucking year. We're married. I'm over there
it's
like
a bad sign.
Trying to set some stuff up, and like one little phone call, and she flipped out and then took off for 2 days, right? And so then me, Mike, and Mark just went out and partied for 2 days. It wasn't going to stop us. We had a great time. Went to some sweet Muay Thai fights. Ringside seats, all that shit. Then they took off, and I was there for 6 weeks by myself. And, I was kind of working over there at the time because that's when I first started working for Keith Caveney. So he was like, I want you to go to Thailand and find me some factories. I was like, that sounds good because I have a girl over there that I'm married to, and it would be it would be perfect time to go do that, right? So
to go spend some time with my wife.
Just happen to be married to a person.
I just happen to be married to a girl over there, so it works out. So yeah, man, I'm like working over there, like kind of, which was really my boss was like sending me money. And I was like, there was like 3 or 4 days where like some guys from America had come out to Bangkok to see a factory that I had like basically introduced them to. And like, I didn't have to do anything except introduce these people and translate a little. Cause at the time my Thai was starting to get a lot better. But yeah, I'm over there for like 6 weeks and she's like, comes back into the picture and we start talking or whatever.
She just showed up?
Well, I mean, she came back after 2 days, but Mikey and Mark were already gone. And, we had each other's cell phones and stuff. So it was like,
she's like, sorry.
Yeah, she's basically saying sorry, whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm like, look, we basically were talking at that point and I was like, I have to go home. I have to, whatever. And she's like, I don't want to go to America, which is like the opposite of what everyone would think. But she just like didn't speak the language and she
didn't want to go there.
Just didn't want to go. Her whole family was, there.
Would you have taken her if she wanted to go?
I mean, I think maybe, yeah.
That would have made the marriage official here too.
Totally.
Would have had to have.
Totally. And I think that I'm not somebody that's like, oh, you should zig when I should have zigged when I zagged, because like I can't change it. So I don't spend too much time thinking about stuff that I did, quote unquote, maybe not right or wrong, or mistakes are to be learned from, but I don't like spend too much time in my life like thinking about things I did in the past. I'm like way more concerned with like having a good time now and like moving forward. So, but anyway, yeah, we just basically split up, and it was as unofficial as the original. I mean, the wedding was official in ceremony, but we had no paperwork. Did you
tell her you split up?
Well, I was like, I'm going home. I was like, I have to go home, and then basically it just kind of fizzled out over the. Well, actually, the real story, what happened is that we end up. I'm like, whatever. I'm going home, and I'm getting laid over in California on the way home, and my ex had moved out there with the 2 kids. And so I'm like, hey, I'm going to come in and see the kids, whatever. Well, when I got there, sure enough, me and my ex ended up having sex sex.
Oh yeah, that's
and
yep.
Her and I were together for years, on and off, like 2-3 years, whatever it was. There was plenty of sex. She never got pregnant. This time she got pregnant and was like, well, I'm not going to air out any of her shit on the air, but like,
so
she got pregnant with Akira.
When she came back after that 2 days, did you have a good time with her, like for the rest of the time, or was it weird?
It was fighting and stuff.
There was like some fighting and some other bullshit, and I was just
Second time you've seen her, you can't be fighting with your wife.
I was just like, look, I don't know what you want me to do. Like this, she called me or whatever. I don't know what it was that ticked her off, but it's difficult. I'll tell you what, it's easy to attract a person and have hot sex with them when you don't speak the same language, but it's very difficult to work out even minute marital issues when you don't have, don't have the translation.
Right.
So that is a factor in that.
Sustainability's tough.
Sustainability. Well, no, it's just you got to be on the same page and you got to both be chill. And I think she was like really, I don't know. She went mental on me for whatever reason, dude. It was bad. And I didn't like that. And then I went and got my ex pregnant. And so then I was like, well, I guess that's that.
So you went home.
And so I went home and basically just never went back for like a couple of years, a long time, like 10 years. And so for a long time, I didn't really think of her at all. But periodically I have like dreams about her. And if I had to boil it down, I would say I have a mild to... I don't want to say moderate. I'll keep it at mild to like almost moderate sense of like, not regret, but like I feel bad. What do you call it? I feel bad.
FOMO.
I feel sorry.
You're missing out.
No, I just feel sorry that, I feel bad that I hurt some other person halfway around the world, and there's no way for me to like give her any kind of like.
Did she ever try to contact you like after California?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it was like a barrage of her calling me for about 2 months, like nonstop. I had to change my phone number. My old school phone number was 978-502-1644, but it no longer is because I had to get it. I had to get it switched.
Did she know that you had gotten your
No, none of that happened. She didn't.
Do you think she knows now that you have a child?
I don't think so. I haven't had any kind of communication with her whatsoever.
Could maybe someday off the air could we find her?
I've tried. I've Googled and I don't have a Facebook account.
Oh, well,
she's
on Facebook.
You can still look and try to find them, but like
I think we're gonna do that after the show. Like
I'll spell her name for you right now, and you can look it up. But she might. She might
be more.
If you want to write it down, you can instead of saying it on air.
I don't think we're gonna bother anyone by spelling it on the air. In fact, our listeners, we may harness their search powers, and we might find her better. So, yeah, her first name is Mali, Molly.
Okay, hold on.
And her last name is Apiban, but they actually. It's pronounced Apiban, but they spell it with an L. So her last name is API, Api, BAL, Apibal. And she might go by Jasmine. Highly unlikely that she took my family's surname, but
we have a little surprise for Chris. We actually have her in the studio. She's going to be here. You flew her in.
Oh man, I'd love to be able to have a talk with her and say sorry things went the way they did, and
I'm not seeing anything that's popping up like.
When
did you search Molly?
Oh, hold on. I will try right now.
No way.
I'll try it.
That would be the best twist ever.
In Tommy Boy when Dan Aykroyd sends him get back. He's like tough break, kid. Use the ice to ice down your marbles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would apologize to her kind of like that. I'd be like, hey, tough break, kid. I'm sorry things didn't work out.
Well,
but I genuinely.
She's probably married with kids now. How old is she? Early 20s?
She probably got remarried, dude. Yeah. Totally. Somebody would have scooped her up. Her family probably was,
nothing.
Pretty supportive.
Your family wanted to kill you?
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, some of them, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like if Alexis was all like crying and was like, "This fucking guy married me,"
Russian guy tried.
Things didn't work out. You'd be like, "If that guy shows up again, I'm gonna fucking kill him."
Yeah.
But they also
when you
got
go
a
to Thailand,
dowry, so
when you go to Thailand, you worried?
They're all right.
Well, no. I mean, last time I went back, it didn't even really cross my mind that I would I look the same, and I was running around the same.
There's no way she wouldn't recognize you.
She would totally recognize me.
Yep.
100%. I would recognize her too. But it would be difficult to flag her in a crowd because of like the zebra effect. But I stand out. So.
But you stand out there. Yeah. Now, it's possible that you would run into her going there, though.
Oh yeah,
very possible.
If she's working in the same.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back this year if it's not too much of a hassle, and I can get someone to watch my shit and. Basically the COVID nonsense is over, and they're like, yeah, you can go places again. But I'm going to see my friend Jewel, aka Parichat, in Ubon Ratchathani, Thailand. So I'm probably not even going to go to Bangkok next time. But I'm going to scout out farmland because marijuana is medical over there, or they're implementing the medical right now. But it'll be when they realize that it generates. First of all, they're dying over there.
Yeah.
Right? They're having poverty.
Yeah.
Conditions, right? That whole place is driven by tourism.
Now, can I ask you a question? You thought you were getting secret, anonymous calls from her, hang-ups and stuff, right? For years?
No, because she would have had to have my number, but I think she might have called my parents' house a few times and hung up on them.
When did she last call you?
I honestly haven't.
How long did it take?
I haven't had. My kid's going to be 15. I haven't had contact with this woman in 15 years. She's just some person that exists on the other side of the planet. She might even be dead. She could have been hit by a car for all I know.
She could have got COVID.
Anything could have happened.
Yeah, you're right.
To answer your questions, I do think about her sometimes and think about the alternate life that could have been very briefly. What if I never came back to the United States?
What if you just stayed with her?
What if I'd be over there doing who knows what?
Now, do you think that maybe in her, I don't know how it is in Buddhist, but do you think that she was like shamed from her family because now she's divorced or anything like that?
The Thai people, okay, so one of the reasons why I love it over there, they're very
laid back.
They're humans. So there's some good ones and there's some bad ones.
Yeah,
there's
obviously.
Really, really sainty ones, and there's some really, really like piece of shit, awful ones, right? But the general population is very like happy and giving, and they don't have a lot. They're very family oriented. They're very accepting of mistakes and situations, like babies out of wedlock, and you know, basically. A lot of the girls from the countryside go to work in Bangkok in like the go-go bars, which they dance naked, probably sleep with guys for money, or they straight up work at like a sex club where they do sleep with guys for money, or they work for themselves, walking the streets and send the money home.
Right.
The point is, a lot of these families know that that's what's going on because there's no way that they're in the city generating the kind of money they are, sending it home to the... So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of acceptance in the family with situations that in most Western cultures would be like, no fucking way. And even a lot of Eastern cultures too, they'd say no fucking way. They're very accepting over there. That's why I like them. It's one of the main things. But yeah, like in an alternate universe, I am with her and I am whatever. But yeah, I'm going to look at a plot of land over there to turn into a farmland.
What would you say if you did run into her?
Oh yeah.
I would say
like, Chris?
Did she have a nickname for you? Did you guys have like pet names for each other that you can remember?
Yeah, you call her Babe.
Yeah, and Blue Dragon.
Does that translate in Thailand?
It's Tilak.
Tilak.
Tilak means
Sounds like a Star Trek
Tilak
character.
means babe in Thai.
Okay. So
it actually means like
it's
like my love, like mi amor in Spanish.
Yeah.
So you would call each other that?
Yeah, what's up, Tilak?
Okay.
And you can use it.
But
I say it all the time. And
how would you say it? How would a Thai person say it?
And you can say like Pom Lakun means like I love you, and you can say like, Pom Lakun Mak means I love you very much.
Almost a song to their language.
I don't know. Their language is tough. It takes practice.
I love this story just because of the story. The adventure that went behind the story. And you can say all you want about him doing something that was fucking like mean, but it wasn't mean. It wasn't mean-spirited, like leaving her and everything.
Oh no, it wasn't like that. She didn't want to go home with me to the United States.
It didn't work out.
I couldn't stay there any longer because I didn't have a visa. I mean, we were married, but like, you know, to go through the paperwork was going to be a lot of dough, and I had to go home and go to work, and that was it.
It's not a new story. It's just a different tale of the same old story that it just didn't work out.
It's not like you ran out on her in the middle of the night.
It was very like something somebody in Hollywood would do. Like you'd see it in the newspaper. Like this person got married and 6 weeks later they got divorced.
Right.
You know, I was like, but I don't regret doing it. The only part about it that I regret is like if I hurt her feelings, and obviously I must have.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm sure she's gotten over it a decade and a half later.
I hope so.
Month 3.
I hope so.
Or she's got a shrine to Chris with candles and a picture with incense, and she burns herself with it.
She's a like a cool. You think I would marry like a weirdo? Like, no. I mean, she's a cool chick. I just like, you know, she went nuts on me because I think of jealousy, and
her jealousy ended up pushing you away very fast. So like,
well, the truth is I had lingering feelings for my ex and the kids, and once I got home and the baby came, it was like, well, now I have, you know, and the news came that Akira was coming. I was like, well, that's that's more important than this person that I'm having a hard time that I had a hard time with over on the other side of the world.
Do you think even if she didn't get jealous of that, you still wouldn't have come back?
You know, who knows what would have happened, dude? Like I don't coulda, shoulda, woulda myself too much, but like,
for conversation's sake,
like my life would have been much different had I stayed in Thailand for sure. But you got to understand that the first place I was staying at was Phuket, and you know, had I not left, I may have died in that tsunami a year later because that's the precise location that got wiped out. When we went back, we went like 2 days after that happened, and it was nuts. It was insane. And it was a wild time to be there. The times I've gone to Thailand, I've seen some wild shit. I was there 2 days after the tsunami, And the last time I went, they inaugurated the new king, and they had the whole army on the rooftops of every fucking building with M16s. I'm talking 3 dudes per floor,
What,
all
for
the
rebellion?
rooftops. No, in case there's
just
snipers, security, whatever.
security.
They were parading this 60-year-old man around in 100-degree heat in a giant suit.
I was going to say he must have been sweating his ass off.
Oh, I felt hard. They were fanning him, but I felt bad for him. I was like, this poor son of a bitch. And this is probably the hardest he's worked in his life, but it's like he's being carried around. But still, it's like whatever.
What was he, a princess when he became king?
Listen, here's the deal with marriage. So we can, if you have more further,
but I have another thing.
What would you like to bring up?
I'd like to add something to it.
Add it up.
About maybe like let's call it 2 weeks after you get back. You didn't even know that Akira was on the way yet. Probably not at this point.
It was 3 months.
You wouldn't have known.
It was 3 months when I got the news.
Right. So
I was.
You call me when you get back, and you go, "Hey, Sean, didn't work out with Molly. Probably didn't even say her name, Jasmine. Yeah, Jasmine. Me and Jasmine are done. And you just you said the line that to me it's something I'll never forget. No, you just said. Everybody knew that was a publicity stunt.
The publicity. It was a publicity stunt. Any publicity is good publicity. And if you're a young dude,
everybody knows.
If you're a young dude and girls that are like 25 heard that you've been married, they know you can commit. Even though you're technically divorced, so you can't commit. At least you're trying to commit. That's better than the other dudes around that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Wow.
I think marriage. This is something I wanted to bring up on the show for a long time. So, I just don't know a lot of happily married people. You guys are on my list. Like my bro and Moon Man are on my list. Siemens is on my list, and his lovely wife Amanda.
That's quite a list, though.
It's cool.
I know a lot.
Yeah,
I know
most
a lot,
of my friends,
but a lot of my other friends I've seen are not. They don't look particularly happy and whatever. When the kids come, it's fun, but a lot of them are like just hanging.
Everybody that got excluded there is going to be like, was he talking about me?
Well, you can't name everybody, but I'm just saying, it's a commitment and it's heavy, and you guys are in it. I'm not, but from what I think should happen is. The model of marriage is incorrect because the heaviness of forever kind of makes it like more heavy than it really is. If we did 5-year intervals where we had
get out of it.
a 5-year re-up period, right? That's how it should be in America because there's so much fucking divorce. And I know what everyone's going to say, like, oh, the attorneys, they'll never go for it because they're doing all the divorces and making the money. But they'll make that same money at the beginning now because they'll have these, there'll be an enormous, every
5-year contract.
In other words,
the re-up.
Imagine that if we had to re-up.
They'd have the
5 years. Driver's license.
They'd have the
I'd be
re-up.
like, are you going to do it? You going to do it?
I'm still thinking about it.
I don't know.
She threw it in my face.
I'm
dude.
not making it.
5-year holdover.
You better be fucking careful because our marriage is coming up next week.
Our marriage renewal.
A marriage renewal.
The marriage license. You need a marriage license.
That's hysterical.
So yeah, you'd be like, I'm not making any decisions until I get in the day we get in the appointment with the lawyer. Right?
I mean, I know a lot of couples that would be down for that.
So, dude, if you had a 5-year commitment window
with an out clause.
with an out clause or a re-up, that would make marriage so much easier because you'd be like, fuck, I just got to get through these next 2 years.
You got to think about insurance and stuff too. You know what I mean?
It would all equal out. They'd figure it out.
It's a commitment though. You got to do it or not.
Divorces are so expensive, and then you got to have 2 houses and all this other stuff. All that money's going somewhere. It could now go.
Now the re-up will just fucking be the most
church
expensive.
would never go for it.
I'm not asking them to. I'm asking. There's a separation of church and state in this country, and I'm going for the.
So people that get married in the church or
we didn't get married in the church.
No, but
fine,
people who get married in the church.
You got married in the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah.
But you go out and you get a divorce through the state. The church says, too bad, you're still married for eternity?
Yes.
No, they can't do anything.
Well, who cares?
Technically,
who cares?
You're religious.
Yeah, no, technically you have to get an annulment through the church.
But if you want to stay
to get
in good
married
standing
in
with the
another
church,
right?
All right.
And you can't get communion.
I could care less about any church, so fuck them.
But
if you're divorced,
they're a little bit more lenient on it now.
Yeah,
but
right.
Well, you can't get married in the church if you're gay either. I mean, those people
but
those
just
people
depends
find
on
the right
you got to
church.
find the right church.
Not the Catholic Church.
Not the Catholic or
no, but they're the most prolific pedophilia ring on the planet.
What about
Ever.
the Orthodox?
Ever.
I don't know.
Definitely not
I'd like to think,
even though they
perfected it. Not
yeah,
invented.
hey, yeah, they did.
Greeks did not invent homosexuality, but
We took
it to the next level.
It's on
just
the
like
pottery.
that's what the Greeks do. They fucking find something out and they go, "Oh, we're gonna fucking make this better."
Oh yeah.
Back then it was a beautiful young body.
People.
They didn't care if it was male or female.
No, they didn't give a shit.
The Japanese society takes everything they have and they make it better. Like that's so ingrained in their society. It's ridiculous. The Greeks perfected homosexuality though. And so you would like to think that with our rich homosexual history that the Greek Orthodox Church would allow Greek marriages.
I don't think so.
I just saw an eyebrow. I just saw a signal from one of you the other. So I mean, I will say that. I think marriage should be 5-year increments. I think I don't know, but it seems to me like sex is a super important part of a healthy marriage. Like you got to have a lot of sex. You got to have
no, you just have to have sex once in a while. You can't just stop having it.
You got to have hot, angry makeup sex after you have fights. You got to have regular sex that's just like for no reason. There's got to be a lot of sex in a marriage to keep it going.
Yeah, you could definitely have to though once in a while. You can't just ignore it and not have sex for a year.
But see, it's different for like. I don't know, man. There's a lot of people that their libidos change.
Their libidos go to nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just, and like you say with chemical, it's chemical. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing I can do about my 17-year-old libido just staying, well past its.
I hear you.
Right. Get it. It
takes one to know one.
Yeah.
I was driving down the street the other day, literally. Looking at women walking and being like, I feel like I'm like gonna do some weirdo move from the 80s, like pull my car over and say, hey mama, what's going on?
I don't think that's from the 80s. I mean,
that's not. It's like
they perfected
50s.
it in the 80s,
more
but they're still
50s,
doing
60s.
that shit.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
You can ask out a girl at work once.
I drive.
Yeah,
one time usually.
Oh, I don't think so. I've drive I drive a sweet ride, and I've never like pulled up to a girl and been like, "Hey, babe, need a ride?" And I wish I could.
It's a creep mode 10,000.
Yeah, totally. Even worse now.
Yeah,
I would
right.
think. Yeah.
It probably very rarely works unless you like got a Lamborghini or some shit.
Unless the girl is eyeing your car like, holy crap, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'll pull over. She might hop in.
Right.
But otherwise, I don't just pull over to some random girl. You might get maced
pull over
in the
and
face.
put your windows down and pretend you're on your phone and wait for her to walk by and be like, hey, how you doing? Maybe like that.
I would think she's a hooker at that point.
Yeah.
Then you just lucked out.
Yeah, right.
Then you just hit pay dirt.
It may also depend on where you're at. Like if you're in Miami or some shit.
That's true. Or you're on Appleton Street,
Or on Appleton Street, yeah.
Big difference.
If you're rolling up to someone on Appleton Street,
anyone
saying, how you doing?
Anyone not from the Lowell area, Appleton Street is kind of like where a lot of homeless and people that are in halfway houses trying to get off of heroin. Is there a methadone clinic down there?
So, yeah.
So they line up for the methadone.
I used to get my check cashed.
Oh, they do.
There.
I've seen them. I've seen them outside lined up, but I don't know if it's.
I never even knew, and I'd come out of like store 24 with like all my money, like counting it, until I went there with my mom one time. She was like, "Are you out of your mind?
Am I allowed?
Put that away."
Yeah, exactly over there.
Are we allowed? Are we allowed to move on from my marriage?
We can move on.
No, it's over.
I think we got the full scoop though.
That's it.
All right,
the whole story.
That's it. The abridged version is.
It is documented for the future generations.
Exactly.
Like that's actually kind of a gift.
My kid busts my balls on it all the time. Like,
does she
like
really?
last time I went to Asia, she's like, "Say hi to your wife for me." I was like, "Thanks."
I fucking love her.
I like that.
Oh yeah, she's a pistol.
She's the best.
She's a pistol. I'll tell you what.
You gonna get her that motorcycle?
I mean, I'm not gonna buy her a motorcycle, but if she buys one on her own, I'm not gonna be like. I mean, what can I do? She's a free person to do what she wants to do.
You're not a free person to do what you want to do. You're married.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry.
Wait
till the 5 years is up, then you can do it.
Yeah, the 5-year the re-up.
Yeah, wait till the 5 years is up. And then you'll be like, you either let me get the bike or we're done.
Put it in.
Yeah, it's part of the negotiations.
Yeah.
We got what it turns into. 2 more years until the 10 years. So.
Do you know how sweet
really?
This is why I'm a fucking genius and people don't know it. Okay, do you know how sweet that system would be? You could use if dudes could use it, girls could. Everyone would use it as like bargaining tool.
Oh yeah.
Like 5-year re-ups coming up. The guy would be like, "I'm getting that Corvette, right?"
Yeah. I have an amendment to the contract.
Yeah, right.
Dan, you'd be like, "I'm getting that restored '88 Camaro, right?"
I'll let you do that when you let me get a bike.
I'm not getting a Camaro.
Fair enough. So just the tip for the week, and I think we can kind of wrap up from there unless there's anything else.
Nope. The UFO stuff came out, but it was just like the government saying they don't know shit. So I don't want to talk about it.
So right now it's like I'm single and ready to mingle. It's summertime. We just got out of this like lockdown situation
Summer of Chris.
Places, the summer of George. Some places are opening up again. Meanwhile, I'm getting older. I don't know how many summers I have left to go out and meet people, specifically girls that I don't know yet. So last night I text Macca. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I want to go out tonight and just, basically chase girls around bars." He's hiked 10 miles in the woods or something. He's cashed. He's like, "I can't do that. Let's go do this." And I'm working late, so I'm like, "Fuck it. I'm gonna go out alone."
Mines didn't match up.
And so that's right. And so my just the tip for this week is, and it's tough because it's kind of, you got to be like a confident person, and you've got to like, I don't know, just keep doing it until you feel better about it. But like right now I'm sitting at home and I want to meet like a sexy lady. Okay. Now what are my options?
Tinder.
I can get on the internet.
Right.
That's not
Bumble?
really an option for me.
Why?
Because they're all gross, just ugly, either externally, internally, or both people.
Okay.
Like I've seen some mildly attractive females on there, but they come at you right away with some negative shit. Like I was a huge proponent of internet dating 20 years ago. Literally, my job at one point for 6 months was like to screen dates for my boss on internet dating. He turned me onto it. Shout out TJ. But it's gotten horrible, and I can't stand it anymore. I have to meet people in real life. That's the bottom line.
Oh yeah.
So
I forgot. Yeah.
I won't do online because
I forgot you told me that.
it's just too gross, and it's just I can't do it. I have to meet people in real life. So the just the tip for this week is you don't be afraid to go out by yourself. And last night I did like a whole bombing run gypsy switch type move on and I went down the old court, saw Parky and Chris Horn from Horn Family Farms was bartending last night. First shift he's done since COVID started.
Right.
So the whole premeditated plan, I told Macca, I go, I've got 6 business cards in my pocket. I'm going to give 2 of them to 2 Latina girls, 2 of them to 2 hot Asian girls, and hopefully, God's willing, 2 hot black girls are going to get my phone number. That's 6 phone numbers I'm going to give out tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. Somebody might like me, right? But meanwhile, I don't have a license because I physically lost my license last week, right? And I'm waiting for the replacement.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, God, I really want to go down to that bar. And the owner really liked me last week, but I don't know if he'll be there. So the plan is that I'm going to park my car and walk past the smokehouse. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I'm like, the owner is going to then, if he remembers me from last week, which he must because he came up to us and bought us drinks and he pulled me out of line and all the other bullshit. If he sees me, I'm going to play it cool like, hey, thanks for letting me in last week, man. That was nice. Good to see you. But I got to meet my buddy down the street for a beer. I can't come in. Sorry. You know what I mean? But secretly, I want to go in there. So he's like, you got to come in for a beer. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I got to go meet my buddy down the street. I have no buddy down the street. Okay?
No.
I do walk down the road, see Parky and Horn work, and I go in for like a half a brewski.
Right.
I tell them what I'm doing. Detailed story that this is, I'm setting up for my attack run now. Parky goes, stay on target. It's a Star Wars quote.
Wait, why couldn't you get in just get in?
Because I wanted to play it cool. Like, I didn't want to go in there, but like, maybe I'll stop in for a beer if he insists, right? So that's exactly what went down. I walked by. The dude's name was Alan. He's like, hey, you had such a good time last week. You're coming back. I was like, sorry, bud. Oh, sorry about the mic. I was like, sorry, dude, can't come in. I was like, got to meet this guy down the street. Talked to Parky, came back. He was outside. He's like, you sure you don't want to come in? I was like, I'll do one. And I went in, and then I just passed my number out to attractive girls, and I was home by 1 a.m. playing video games.
There it is.
It was a fucking strategic strike run.
But did you get a call?
Thus far, I struck out Kingsley. Point of fact.
That happens, though.
And you do. And
it happens.
And just the tip is this, too. Like, phase 1, don't be afraid to go out alone, okay? Phase 2, I hate to say it, but there are a lot of people out there that compare it seems to get labeled with guys, right? Like guys are going out looking for girls, but like girls must go out looking for guys, right? Don't you go and your girlfriends go out? I mean, I already know the answers. Yes.
Without saying it to each other, I'm sure.
We told them the 2 cow story last week, and the 2 bulls and the cows, and they're all whispering, "Oh, look at those bulls." So the point is, you get a lot of these analogies towards like hunting and fishing, like for like you're going out hunting or like, and I'm sorry, it is kind of like that. Okay, you are kind of going fishing, right? You've got some bait, and you want someone to bite onto it, right? Now, when do you go fishing? You go in the morning when the fish are biting the most, because in the afternoon, maybe if you have a sweet,
or at night when the sun's setting.
That's right. 2 times a day. There are 2 peak times a day that you go fishing, right?
Right.
And you know that because humans have spent time studying these patterns, and
dusk and dawn. Dusk and dawn.
Okay. If you go out at 2:00 in the afternoon and you've got like an absolutely sweet, irresistible piece of bait, and the fish sees it, you might catch a fish.
It has to be.
But if you go during prime time conditions, dusk and dawn, your chances are significantly higher. So follow suit. The second part of just the tip is, I don't know when the bars close where you are, but like an hour and a half to 2 hours before those bars close, that's prime fishing time. The fish are biting. All right, the people are out. They've had a couple of drinks. They're already loosened up.
Loose as a goose.
Loose as a goose. You want to go out during like midnight. Set up for your attack run for one quick one. You're in and out. Bing, bang, boom. Make eye contact. Get your phone number out. Whatever. Last night, no dice. I do that every Saturday night.
But it's possible to actually go home with somebody at that time, right?
Totally. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking to like say, hey, I think you're cute. Here's my number. Call me if you're interested.
So you got to be ready for it.
Yeah. Is that how you approach like one of your fish?
A human being that has person I'm trying to meet?
I'm saying like if someone was like, oh, I want to try this business card move, how would
you just go up to someone, you say, hey, how you doing? I told that girl last week she was fly, which was very specific.
Throwback.
That is a throwback.
That's very specific. Right there. Very specific.
Yeah.
Word. But just say, hey, I like your braids.
It's the way you put together.
I think you're cute. Appeal.
Nate Dogg will be like, ooh, I like your size. You know what I mean? It depends on where you are, what you want.
Your bangs.
Yeah, like at the library, you might say something different to somebody, right? Or at like maybe in the grocery store.
Something recently. Somebody said something to Dan. They're like, "Oh, I really like your aesthetic."
Oh.
Yeah. No, you wanted to cut her throat out, right?
Yeah. No, it was a boy. I think it was a younger boy that like one of your cousin's friends.
What if a gay guy? What if a gay guy hits on Dan? Do you get jelly?
No,
but it happens now,
because I know Dan would never.
But other girls.
It happens though.
I know Dan would never go for another girl, but I don't think I like the fact that they think there's a chance.
You don't like them looking at him while you're present either.
And it's
that's
funny
like
because
disrespectful to you.
I haven't had to break out the death stare in quite a while. And I realized we went to the mall the other day, and
it's been happening recently after I lost weight.
Bless this little 13, 14-year-old girl. She thought my husband was hot.
14, I don't think,
and, she was staring at him, but she didn't also realize that I was giving her the death stare at the same time until she looked at me. And
she followed us, didn't she?
Yeah, she ended up in the same store as us about 10 minutes later, and
maybe
walked around and got out.
Wow.
She thought you were somebody famous because like you dress
That's
so.
True.
Then I wear my hat, my sunglasses.
I can't help it. I'm just like, I get that jealous thing in me, and
it's been happening more lately.
You guys,
I told you that you got to give me it because I don't know when it'll happen again in my life. This could be the last time it ever happens.
That's precisely why I went out last night and gave my number out, because I was like, I'm gonna go meet some hot babes while I'm young. And
I told you last year when I was on Prednisone, I already thought it was over. I thought that was it. I'm just not gonna get looked at like that ever again.
Well, I'll tell you what. How old was that girl? 15?
No,
17?
she was like 20 probably.
No. She was younger than that.
Well,
yeah, she was probably like 14, 15.
She told me she was 18.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. If you had a 5-year re-up coming up, you could slip out of that right when she comes of age, and you could be in there, buddy.
Bing, bang, boom.
So anyway, that's all I got on marriage, and it's not for me.
You tried it.
I like.
You don't think you'll ever get married?
I think I'll get
possible.
I think I'll get married when I'm like
65.
What if right now you just meet somebody that's like, that's it, I'm done?
I like that
what
you.
If she checks
she needs
all
marriage.
your boxes?
If Medusa asked me out on a date.
Oh, that's right.
And she wanted, and she
The girl on his chest.
Jimmy's sister. If she asked,
well,
I'm infatuated with her. She's not the love of my life. Lando is the love of my life. She's my first girlfriend from when I was 10.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She's in California with 3 kids and a husband, and
it happens.
That's not happening.
I'm saying her and I are very close friends. Her and I can talk after like a year or two has gone by, and it's like we just talked yesterday. So that's like my bonded person that I'm with,
Yeah.
But yeah, marriage is just not for me, man. And
but I do want to point out that you did try it once, and it was probably one of the more extreme attempts.
I think
it's probably not the healthiest time in his life.
It wasn't a good time in my life to do it, and I wasn't doing it for the right reasons.
Right,
and I think that when you have kids, that's the right reasons to stick together as like a family unit. But I don't know if like marriage is the solution to
it's effective co-parenting. You know what I mean? My parents still suck at it. They've been divorced for 25 years.
Still petty over
They're
it.
still fucking petty. Oh my God. My dad just left yesterday, and dealing with them is like insane. You would think they would get over it like 25 years later.
I saw the camper.
It's actually staying there. It's going to be my homework hideout for the summer. Yes.
Cool.
Can you guys drive it and take it places?
I don't have a car that would take it, but I probably could. But
Dan's giving me the look that he just gave me a look and an expression, but
it's your homework.
I'm interpreting it as a place for you guys to sneak in and have sex.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Just throw a towel or a blanket down.
No, that's like having sex in my dad's bed.
Come on.
No.
I've probably had sex in your dad's bed.
When you were 17, you didn't shag in your bed?
No, I had my own room. No.
Fair enough. Well, the camper does seem like a logical place to at least do something.
Disrespectful.
All right. Well,
we probably haven't actually. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. No.
If you want to hear if you have an interesting topic that you'd like on the show, you can email us at tmnbart@gmail.com.
Or you can hit the DMs in our Instagram.
If you're a fan, we will send you a signed photo.
Yeah.
With a bill.
With a bill.
With a
Send her a return stamp.
I'd like to get
COD.
like a video GIF.
A GIF.
A GIF.
GIF or
Yeah.
GIF.
I want a GIF of Danny D doing the pelvic thrust,
Oh, I almost did it today, didn't I?
Trademark that shit.
and we can put that
He did some.
that on our
I did a variation of it today.
He
the
did
website.
a mild variation up on the deck today while we were child free at the pool to music. It was nice.
Anyway, we're sweating our.
We're supposed to film it soon for the IG, though, right?
We're sweating our.
We should film it soon for the IG.
Yeah.
We're sweating our
We could do a
hushies off
boomerang.
over here. Everyone's sweating their hushy off, so we got to get off air. But listen, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the raw, uncut, as best we can remember it version of my controversial marriage to a woman in Thailand. And until next time, guys, just get your hushies off.